We are live. Welcome to Pens Pointers. And guess what I got? I have the list. And guess who made the list? The Philadelphia Flyers, because they suck and lost at the Stadium Series. Ta-da.
You happy about that, Dan?
Just a little bit happy. I am overjoyed. It was glorious. Thank you.
Oh, Dan, you were talking about that last week. Are you glad that you started it?
Yeah, it was. Yes.
Well, I know what else you're glad about.
What's that?
A certain game that ended with a certain victory at a not PPG Paints Arena.
Talking about that Stadium Series.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Well,
Phenomenal.
We had to let Philadelphia come over to this side of the state. Ugh.
Sure, and they get the drive back. That was even better. Let their fans drive back, moping.
Oh, so who was your favorite player of that game, honestly? Who do you think was the best?
Jake Gensel or Matt Murray. I thought Murray had a fantastic – Murray being in net shows you the disparity between our goaltending, which is phenomenal, and Philadelphia's, which was awful, I thought, in that game. What's their goaltender's name?
Who was in that night? Are you throwing questions at me? I'll think of it. Keep
going.
But
it was just Murray. Penguins didn't play their best game. I mean, I thought in the second they looked sloppy, but they were able to play just well enough, get some goals that trickled in. I thought Cullen had a good night, Matt Cullen. Sid getting that first goal. Oh, man, was that just beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
How fitting for Sidney Crosby to score against the team that says he sucks. No, he doesn't suck. He's the best in the world, and you can stick that in your pipe and shove it.
Well, it's also like, on the other hand, it's good for him considering the last Winter Classic, well, the last two had sour taste. It's a shutout 5-0 against Chicago, which we'll talk about a little later because we got a big matchup coming up. And then the other one where he got hurt against the Capitals in the loss at Heinz Field a couple years ago. So he hasn't had good luck with the last two. So it's good to see him get the goal.
Yes, it is.
For that game. You were looking about Neuwirth is their goaltender.
Thank you.
As soon as I saw let some. So, yeah, he let in a couple leaky ones. The one by Ruwheel, I was like, did you really just give that up?
That was shocking. I was like, wow, that just went right by him. And
Matt Collins,
it was just great to see.
Second crack.
Yeah. I mean, I was there live. What was it like, from your end watching it? It's just different from the TV.
The energy was there, don't get me wrong. The problem with it was the camera angle was way off.
That's what I heard.
Watching it at home. Because they're using that flyby camera that was used when you watch, football games down low on kickoffs.
Mm-hmm.
The camera angle is so skewed from a normal TV angle. There's blind spots that you couldn't see. You honestly, if you watched it long enough, if they didn't switch off the camera angle, you get a headache.
Really?
I'm not kidding.
I was hearing some of that on Twitter.
They were better off just putting a fixed TV camera up in the stand somewhere like they do for the hockey games. It's just that flyby camera made it so hard to track the puck and follow. But no, it was good. They got the 4-2 win.
Mm-hmm.
The next thing we wanted to talk about, Dan, you got some new gear, and it's got some signatures.
Well, before we get to that, let me show you what I got at the Stadium Series before we wrap it up.
Get show and tell.
A terrible towel.
Oh, nice.
Very nice design. Ticket. Here, show the ticket.
Oh, you better hang on to that. That's something to keep.
Yeah. I'll never forget going. It was a great game. Their second best Stadium Series. I would argue right behind the Buffalo one. And then
I would agree. They were good. What do you got?
This is really good stuff. A lot of the official program. I'm glad it has the rivalry history, stats. You'd love this. It's great stuff. So that's what I got at the Stadium Series.
Awesome.
Yep.
I know you got something more priceless, Dan. What'd you get?
Well, this past Thursday at the Mall at Robinson, I had the honor and privilege of meeting the legendary, I know you love him, hey, shoots and scores, Mike Lang. And as you can see, I have this tricked out autographed hat. It also has James, the real deal, Neal, who now plays for Nashville. Love you, Neal. And Phil Bourque. So now I got Mike Lang and Phil Bourque, the dynamic duo, as I call them, on commentary. And that was great. Said, Mr. Lang, it's an honor to meet you. I love, talking to you. And he got a kick out of seeing Borky's autograph on there. He's like, oh, maybe I should sign over his name, And he made me laugh. Mike Lang's a legend, and he's a stand-up guy. And it was great to meet him, As soon as I saw him, I said hi to Borky too, because, I already got his autograph, but it was just great to see. It was great to see him.
What
Now,
else did you get?
I'm going to have to take my headphones off for this, but on the back of my jersey, I'm about to show you, I got my jersey autographed by the one, the only, the 23-year-old rookie netminder, Matt Murray. Here it is.
Lift it up a little bit, Dan.
So I hope that showed up. Were you able to get that on camera?
You got his name. You didn't get the number.
Let me move the chair out. There we go. There we go. How's that?
There you go. That's better.
Got it in view. There is the autograph from Matt Murray. It was a great honor of meeting Matt Murray. As soon as I saw his name, I figured I got a Matt Murray jersey. This needs an autograph. And meeting him, it was awesome. We're the same age. Although he's tall. And he's not really like built wise. You know, he's not like, doesn't look that built, but he is a tall dude. And it's great to meet him. I said, Matt, it's an honor to meet you. You're an amazing goaltender. He's a rookie. Remember, this is his rookie season. We forget that. That's how good he's been. And he's the future. And I said, good luck in the Stadium Series, and I'll be there, and I can't wait to see you play. And he played, and he was phenomenal. And I wore this jersey to the game. So all in all, it was awesome meeting Matt Murray and Mike Lang. Whew, great stuff.
Man, Dan had a good Thursday. You know where I was, Dan?
Where were you?
I'll give you one guess.
Work?
Yep.
Okay.
So no, it was great. It was great. You got to see meet Mike Lang. That's really awesome.
Yeah.
You got to catch up with Phil Bork again, who you've met before. Dan, we talked about it a little bit via text message. Who else do you want to get on that hat? I know you got a lot of space left.
Yeah, there is a lot of room on this hat. I'd like Hornquist, who was there, but I just a little bit more money for him. I couldn't shell that out. Kessel, Sid, Malkin, Letang would be nice. I'd like to get my Letang jersey autographed. You never know. You never know when you might meet people like this. You run into them. I ran into Paul Martin once at a UPS store. So I didn't talk to him, but I ran into him. I'm like, holy shit, that's Paul Martin. So great stuff. They're great guys. Hockey players, particularly the Penguins, there's no issues. There's no trouble. We don't have to worry about that. Just saying.
High-class players.
Yep. So that's always great to see. So it was a great time on Thursday and then Saturday. It was a great weekend of hockey. It really was.
Well, Dan, we are going to have a very busy month of hockey, Dan. March is here. The trade deadline is tomorrow. We're not going to worry about that because as far as I'm concerned,
Penguins-wise, no.
They're not going to do anything. They have the team that they need. They have the players they need. I like the move they did with getting Hainsey from Carolina because we were strapped on defense right now. Other than that, I don't think they need to touch anything. Rutherford said he's probably not going to trade Murray or Fleury.
Oh, God.
You know how I am on that.
Yes, that's okay.
But no, he said he wants to keep for the most part. He said he wants to keep Fleury. He says if we have two good goaltenders, why are we going to trade?
Exactly. Thank you.
So we'll leave that at that. But let's look ahead here to March, Dan. They have, I believe, if I counted right, 16 games in 31 days.
It's gonna be a busy month.
There are, including tonight and tomorrow, 1, 2, 3. We got 3 back-to-back games this month. So that's going to be a tough couple games. And you're looking at this end tonight. They're going to be in Dallas, then have to go to Chicago for tomorrow night. And we'll talk about the Chicago game in a little bit. Then they are home for 2, go to Winnipeg. Then they do the road trip where they're at Edmonton and then at Vancouver. So 2 late nights next weekend. Not this weekend, coming up the following weekend. Then we jump all the way down to the 23rd when they're on the road in Ottawa and then come home to play the Islanders back-to-back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, also, let's not forget we're sprinkling Philadelphia in there twice this month.
Good, beat them twice.
One on the road and one at home. So, Oh, and here's the other one, Dan. They do play Chicago again at the end of the month. So
I'll be at that game.
This is a tough month.
Ooh, I can't wait for that game.
This is a really tough month. And you know what's really funny? They don't even play the Capitals this month. But just looking at how the schedule's laid out and who they're playing, it's going to be a tough month, really.
They don't play the Capitals at all. They're done.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So you figure you're looking at, let's see. They have Tampa Bay's a seller. They're going to be done for the year. But Philadelphia always puts thorns in our side, so we have to be careful with those 2 games. Panthers are making a push for the playoffs. Buffalo,
Nah, you
but
can beat
it's on the road. Bylsma's pretty good at home. Chicago will be at home. The Islanders. Edmonton, will get to see them again, and the Rangers. So, I mean, there's a couple tough teams sprinkled in there. And then there's those games where it's like, for example, who would be a notable one to put out here?
Devils always give us trouble.
Like, that's the point, though. New Jersey should be a win. That should be a pat yourself on the back, but it never is. It never is. It's always this game that gets away, and you're sitting there scratching your head after the third period going, what did we just do?
I know. It always happens.
Busy month, Dan.
Exciting.
Are you concerned about Penguins and where they're going to fall in the playoffs? Or are you pretty confident that they're going to finish in second?
I'm pretty confident. I mean, as we've seen from last year, it's a clean slate. Remember that? As long as you're in, now it does matter who you play, obviously, but I'm fine with second. Winning the division, what does it really matter? I mean, think about it. Yeah, it's a nice accolade, but long run, I don't know.
Right. Well, are you concerned with, for example, if the Penguins hit into a bit of a slump here with the defenseman changes and injuries, that they fall into maybe third or the seventh wild card?
Could happen, but think about it. The one nice thing, and I never say nice lightly, I use that term very loosely about these injuries, is these guys will be rested, and when they come back, they'll be ready to go, these D-men. So that's a positive way to look at it, even though it isn't negative.
They'll bring a lot of energy once they come back into the lineup because they're going to be fresh and healthy, which I hope they do what they did with Malkin, which was let him come back when he's ready. Don't force him into the lineup.
Rush. We're going to make the playoffs. You're fine.
Yeah. Let them come back at 100% so they bring 100% of energy the first game and they don't risk a re-injury because that's the last thing we need.
Exactly.
So I'm pretty confident. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they dip down into third just because you've already given yourself, like you said, you're not going to catch the Capitals.
No.
You're not on the other hand, you're not really going to fall out of the playoffs either. If you've looked, 7th and 8th place is like 12 points in the East.
Big gap.
So you figure they have the safety net. If they wanted to take their foot off a little bit and get some players rested up to get ready for the playoffs, they could. I don't think Sullivan will. That's just not the kind of coach he is. But I think they're in a good spot where they're going to be almost, I want to say, guaranteed a playoff spot. I know we have a month and a half of hockey left, but at this point, if they keep playing the way they are, it's a guarantee.
Sure.
So, but let's move on. Tonight's Dallas, we'll cover it real quick because I know who you really want to talk about.
Yeah, we'll talk about this game.
We still have to make our predictions in this one. Dan, it's on the road against Dallas. Dallas is
pretty mediocre. I'm really surprised.
Pretty mediocre. They could still kind of make a run at it, but they probably won't.
I'm surprised. I really am.
Yeah, I know. You know what? I think the thing that killed them this year was their goaltending. Neither one of their goaltenders was putting up numbers above 900 on the save percentage ads. And then your goals against was like in the high 2.9s.
Not going to win that way.
That's, you might have the offense with Jamie Benn and the rest of the crew down there, but if you're getting outscored, you don't win the game. So I think that's what really hurt them this year. They didn't trade. I thought maybe the Penguins would give up Fleury to Dallas, but that looks like that's not going to happen.
What would they want him that they already have a goal? I just adding him up. I don't think they'd want to.
Well, what I'm saying is if Dallas was in a better position, they probably would have had the market to sell him. But since Dallas on this end is looking like sellers because they're on their way out, the Penguins aren't going to get as good of a deal if they traded Fleury yet.
No.
So anyway, Dan, what do you think about tonight? You think they're going to win, or do you think Dallas is going to squeak one out here? They did get, I think they lost their last game 6-3, something like that at home.
I already have my prediction. It just hit me. I'm saying 5-2 Pens.
5-2 Pens.
I think it's going to be a big night.
I'm
coming off that stadium series. You got a lot of momentum, beating your rival.
I'll go against you on this one. I'm going to say they're going to come off too big of a high from the Philadelphia game. They're going to come out in the first period and get throttled. And I don't think they're going to come back and win. I think it's going to be Dallas is going to squeak out 2 points here. Pittsburgh is going to go on the road to Chicago with a loss, and hopefully they get the redemption tomorrow. But I just feel like, once again, it's one of these games that they should win, and I feel like they're not.
Okay.
So that's just my look. That's just how I see it. I hope they get the win, but on my end, I always look on the side of this is a team that's playing spoiler. and they're playing the reigning Stanley Cup champions, you know they're going to bring their A game even if they're not in the playoff spot.
Sure.
So, but let's move on, Dan. I know you've been itching to talk about Chicago.
Just a little bit, maybe.
So I'll let you take this away. How about you give us the setup for tomorrow's game, Dan?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the tale of two tapes. In one corner, you have the reigning, defending, undisputed, 4-time Stanley Cup champions of the world, the Pittsburgh Penguins. In the other corner, you have the former reigning, defending, undisputed, 2015 Stanley Cup champions of the world. By the way, they won 3 cups in the last 5 years. Hawks are amazing. Pens are amazing. Put these two teams together, my two favorite teams, it's going to be one hell of a fight Wednesday night in the Windy City. Now, how's that for selling a matchup? That's how I'd sell.
Great. I thought Doc Emmerich sells them well, but you sold that one pretty good.
Yes. Thank you. I try.
Well, I know you're a fan of both, so I want to see what do you think is going to happen in this one?
Oh, I knew you were going to ask me. I knew you were going to ask me that. That's you always have to put me on the spot. I'm in the hot seat, folks. Who do I think is going to win this game? Well, I think it all depends actually on tonight. I think if the Pens win, I could definitely see them, maybe being a little bit tired going into tomorrow night and dropping the game against Chicago. Likewise, if I think the opposite happens, if the Pens lose, then, I could see them bouncing back and picking up the win against Chicago. So I really think it depends on how they play and perform and are coming out of tonight's game. Because back-to-back games, it's all about momentum, your agility, your speed, your prowess, everything, all those factors, how you played and how you use that carrying over from one night to the next. It's going to be real quick. Get on that flight. You got to go to Chicago. You're going to Dallas and now it's trip. So right. That's where I'm basing my predictions on. I think it'll be a great game. You got Taves, Kane, Keith, Crawford, Crosby, Malkin, possibly Letang. He might be coming back soon. Murray. Although I think Fleury. Well,
Fleury,
okay.
I'm not sure who got the nod tonight. I didn't get a
Murray's
chance
in that
before
tonight.
We started. He is, so they'll probably put Fleury in.
I would have done the opposite, but whatever. So, but your big guns will be in there. And Fleury's still great, but I would have had it flipped. Anyways, that star power alone is going to make for an electrifying game. First meeting of the season. Can you believe it? It's March 1st. First meeting of the season between these two teams.
Yeah. Well, they play them twice this month. I think that's it, right? They just play each other twice.
It. Everybody at least plays everybody twice.
So you figure they got them twice this year, or twice this month, I'm sorry. Tomorrow night and then on the 29th. Is
this our Stanley Cup final preview? I want it. You know how bad I want that?
Talking about that, I would love this to be a Stanley Cup final matchup.
Who wouldn't want it? It would just, either this or the Wild, I think, would be phenomenal.
Oh, yeah. On your end with Chicago, you got to watch out with the Wild, man. They are looking something fierce this year, man. I know you were making fun of them the last 2 years with how
but they finally they're legit. I even say they're better than Chicago this year. See, I try to be non-biased as I can. Despite being a fan of the Hawks, I'll admit the Wild have turned the corner and are better than the Hawks. The Hawks are creeping up. It's going to be a battle to see who's going to take that top spot. It's going to be really fun to watch.
And you know what's going to be interesting is it's going to be one of those two because St. Louis has kind of fallen by the wayside late.
It's the Hawks and the Wild. They're dominating.
And then the Kings, on the other hand, who knows what's going to happen with Quick coming back and with them picking up Ben Bishop from Tampa Bay. They could flop.
Right. San Jose's up there too. You can't count them out.
Yeah, they're gonna be in there as well. I just haven't been too wowed. I've watched some of their games. I've saw some of the highlights and their
Burns is great.
Burns is always having a good season. The thing everybody's saying is this might be one of his last few seasons as he's getting up there in age. If I remember that correctly, I think it was him they were talking about. But it's like anytime I think about the West, I don't think about the Sharks. And maybe that's a good thing for them because no one's paying attention to them.
Sure.
Everybody's paying attention to Minnesota and Chicago. But I just feel like this is going to end up being a 2-horse race in the West.
West is weaker this year.
You know what? I've noticed that. And I was just going to say that. I'm thinking the West will be a 2, maybe 3-horse race. The East is going to be all 8. Really. Even the 8th seed that's going to come in is going to come in gritting their teeth trying to take down the top dog. And it's not going to
be fun hockey.
It's just unreal. Look at the Metropolitan. It's like, it's funny. And I was talking to a couple friends earlier. It's funny how Pittsburgh sports teams always end up in the toughest division. Did you ever notice that?
It seems to be that way.
Hockey, you have the AFC North in football, and then you have what's the division for baseball?
Don't even ask me.
The NL, I think it's NL Central or NL something. I've given up on baseball, but
yeah,
the last couple years, remember the Pirates had like 90+ wins and they were a wild card.
I'm biting my tongue.
How does that happen? Why does Pittsburgh always get into the toughest?
I know.
So, but what is your prediction for tomorrow night? You think they win or they lose for the Penguins?
I mean, they can win. It's tough. I don't know if I could actually make a prediction. It's tough. I think it'll potentially go into overtime. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see a 4-3 game with the Pens winning. I always got to go with my Pens. But if the Hawks win, I'll be happy. See, I win either way. I love it. I can sit down and watch that game and just relax.
Right, and you're like, I don't care who wins as long as there's a lot of goals.
Yes, Taves. How about you real quick, Taves? He has been a house on fire. Him and Kane, they both got back-to-back hat tricks recently. I mean, Jonathan Taves, people were ripping on him for the slow start at the beginning of the season. Oh, yeah. But didn't Sid do the same thing? Remember last year? Slow start. The great ones, and Taves is a great player. Obviously, Crosby is better, and so is Kane, but he's won 3 cups, and he's certainly turning it on. He is just playing lights out. I just noticed the parallels between how Taves started this season, very slow, to how Sid started last season. You have any thoughts on that?
You know what? And I think it was it's the scenario's the same, but I think the reasons are different. I think last year it was because of the coach at the time wasn't really I don't want to say he's managing the team that wasn't useful for Crosby. But you saw when Sullivan came in and he changed it to a fast-paced, high-octane offense, that was like a light bulb went off on Crosby's head, and he just took off. I think that was the problem, was the messaging of the coach was not congruent with what was good for Crosby. And let's be honest, Johnson was playing a little bit more of a conservative defensive style.
Wasn't ideal.
Sullivan, and there's nothing wrong with that style, and there's nothing wrong with him thinking that's the right way. The problem is, the Penguins, by nature, with the talent they have, are an offensive first-minded team. And they bank on the fact that they have a good goaltender because the defense cheats up the play. And we've seen it before. And we've seen breakaways where, and it's either goaltender, Fleury or Murray, where they get the one-on-one breakaway because Letang or Dumoulin cheats up to get a slap shot in and they fan on it or something. And it's a one-on-one in the other way. But the Penguins don't panic when that happens because they have 2 solid goaltenders.
They do.
So, but I agree, though. It's sometimes the star players it's like for some reason they take a little longer to get the motor running. But once it's running, man, it's like it's a snowball going down a hill. You can't stop it once they start. So,
exactly. It's just nice to see Taves, finally turning it around. It's just really, really great to see.
Right. So let's see. You're saying what? Pittsburgh probably loses against Chicago?
It's tough. It's really a toss-up, What do you think?
Here's what I'm saying. I'm still sticking with them losing to Dallas tonight, just because I have a feeling that they're just not going to come out and play right. They're too emotionally high after the last game. I know they are, but that's me. I think they're going to drop Chicago in overtime, to be honest. They'll get a point out of it, but it's going to be a dirty game. In terms of there's going to be a lot of scoring, and maybe I shouldn't say dirty. It's just going to be a highly offensive game, so the goaltenders aren't going to look good. But it depends on how physical Dallas is tonight. If the Penguins get bumped and bruised against Dallas tonight, it's definitely a loss in Chicago tomorrow. If they get out, even though they lose, without getting too banged up, I think they could even swing a win tomorrow, but it all depends on physicality-wise. So that's why I'm saying an overtime loss. I think they won't drop 2 in a row, but I don't think they're going to go pointless.
No.
So that's my say. I say they lose tonight, and then maybe an overtime loss tomorrow.
Yeah, it's too much for me to predict with. I first got to see how tonight plays. Then I can make my proper prediction tomorrow. So I'm going to hold off on that one.
All righty, Lynn. Let's see. Right now, I believe.
Well,
based on the 2 games we have predicted,
throw in a little RMU hockey talk. Robert Morris, real quick.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Well, they I haven't really been. I pay attention here and there, but we are, of course, alums from Robert Morris University, and that they have a really tremendous hockey program. And I don't know if you have anything to say about Colonials, they played in Heinz Field as well the night after. They beat Niagara 5-1, and their season is 19-11-4, a pretty damn good record again. RMU, wouldn't you say the hockey team is the best thing going at RMU sports-wise?
I'd be honest, yeah. I did my work down there with covering the sports down there, and I'll be honest, that was one of the ones that got the most attraction. It's the one that drew the most students and parents and fans to show up. You know, I know they keep trying to push the whole basketball thing, but hockey is really what has been pulling them. And I agree. They've got a really good hockey program on both ends, men and women's. Both are very good programs. It was good to see that they got that win. I was really, really scared that they weren't going to win that game. But as soon as I saw them, before it started, let me rephrase that. Once I saw them pull away, it's like, okay, they got it. But it's like beforehand, you're like, it's a new environment. They're taking it all in. Maybe they take a little bit too off of the gas at the first period and they don't get ahead. But they played a solid game. I'll be honest. They did a really good job last night.
Sure. And it also says here they finished 4th in the Atlantic Hockey Conference, and they will have to win the conference tournament to qualify for the NCAAs. But they've been able to make it to the NCAA tournament in years past, so they will be playing March 10th. They will play host to 5th-seeded Holy Cross in the opener of a best-of-3 quarterfinal series of the AHC tournament, the Atlantic Hockey Conference. So I'm always a fan of college hockey. Of course, I figured we'd have to get a quick plug.
Yeah, why not?
About Robert Morris, seeing as how we went there. So good luck to them. Hopefully they can win the series and go into the NCAA and make a nice run, because they've done it before. I think they're just a really talented team. They really are.
Right, and like you said, all you have to do is get in.
Exactly, and it's fair game.
You never know.
Anybody can win.
But it's getting close to puck drop time. I know you're watching. What are you watching tonight? You're not watching the game.
I'm going to be watching the game, but I'm going to be mainly watching SmackDown. So that's what
I figured. Yeah.
It's tough.
So,
I got a lot to watch.
SmackDown, Dallas Stars.
It's not. If it was Chicago, I'd fully. But it's the Stars. It'll probably be a Penguins. A good game, hopefully a win. So I'll watch as much as I can.
Right. Well, as for predictions currently, Dan, I'm 2-0. You're 1-1. So we'll see who ends up being right. I still keep track on that.
That's my pick. 5-2.
So other than that, Dan, I think we're done. Throw in your plug as you always do, and then we'll wrap it up.
Oh boy, can't wait. Here we go, folks. We are less than 15 minutes away until SmackDown Live. I will, of course, be going live after the hockey game, after the Penguins complete the third period. When do you think that'll be? Like around 10:30, hopefully?
Yeah, because you figure they're starting at 8, so you figure instead of a 9:30 finish, it'll be about 10:30.
Okay, maybe 10:45. Well, anyways, after the Penguin game, I'm glad I just remembered that. I will be going live for my SmackDown Live review, breaking down everything that's taking place tonight on SmackDown. We got a huge lineup, folks. We got Luke Harper versus AJ Styles to determine who will face Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania 33. We also have John Cena on Miz TV. We have Dolph Ziggler versus Apollo Crews in a chairs match. We also have Becky Lynch versus Mickie James in a 2 out of 3 falls match. It's SmackDown. It's better than Raw. It's the A show, and I will be live breaking it down the best way I can here on YouTube. So go to youtube.com/DanielGuys412. Road to WrestleMania 33, baby. April 2nd. Be there or be square. Woo!
Well, Dan's definitely pumped up.
Thank you. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit, Dan. Just a little bit.
That's great.
That's going to be it for us, guys. We'll see when we can get back on here. Probably not the rest of this week because, luckily me, I get to be at work. But Dan and I will figure out another time to convene and talk more about hockey. This is going to be a busy month, Dan, so we might be doing a couple podcasts this month. So
it would be great. It really will.
All righty, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoy the Dallas game. For you Wrestle guys, I hope you enjoy, what is it, SmackDown? Is that what you said it was?
SmackDown. Yep.
Hope you enjoy SmackDown. And we will catch you guys next time, hopefully after the Penguins put the SmackDown on Dallas. Do you see what I did there?
I see what you did there.
All righty, guys. We'll see you guys next time. Take care.
Woo! Woo!